Crypto Frog in the house. Urbit. No one can ever say I don't like a challenge. You can follow me on Twitter, CryptoFrog202. If you're new here and are watching the replay or want to chat, I'll check the live chat later, but I just want to rattle through this. Because it's not super easy to wrap your head around. As I said in the video description, if this is something that you think interests you, I suggest you do a lot more research on your own, because there's only so much I can say in a stream. Disclaimer, not financial advice. And thumbs up for the algorithm. Thank you very much. I venture where others dare not. Thank you. I'm up to 48 gigaledges on Subscribestar. Incredible. Thank you very much. You're legendary. I will continue to drop alpha there as and when. It doesn't fall off trees, unfortunately. So I can't say every day. So talking about Urbit today. Have you ever want to just leave this crappy internet we're left with in 2021, the early 2020s behind, and start afresh? Well, that's what Urbit describe themselves as being able to do. And I'm going to tell you how this ties into cryptocurrency in a short while. So we're going to get pretty deep, chads and cheekers, but you know, I'll keep it as light as I can. And I'll try as best as I can to explain without rambling on for like 3 hours and making too many mistakes. And if I do make some mistakes, trust me, it's not because I haven't been looking at this relentlessly for the past like couple of weeks. It's just that my smooth brain struggles with certain things. Let's go on to the by the way, Twitter is just at Urbit. This is the website, urbit.org. It's very fresh. And let's talk about it then. So it's reimagining the internet as something it used to be, or perhaps what the dream of the internet was supposed to be before it went all shitty. By the way, I noticed one thumbs down. Rectify that by fighting it with thumbs up. Thank you very much. For now, at least. Anyway, still at its very early period, there was a bit of buzz starting to bubble up because they held a conference, and lots of people were like blown away by what they heard. Unfortunately, I couldn't attend because I'm unvaxxed. I'm one of the unwashed. But from what I hear, it's very interesting. People were saying it had like the earliest Bitcoin and Ethereum conference vibes. Now, we'll get more into that in just a minute. But I think the vision of this right now, it's still kind of in the hands of the company that's trying to get it off the ground. This was founded like right back in the early 2000s. That guy dropped it and it was picked up by this company. But the final plan is for when it's completely ready, is that it's going to be completely decentralized. Now, we have seen previous attempts to kind of decentralize the internet. Majority have failed. Who knows what will happen with this one? But we'll talk about it anyway. And anyway, this one is taking a much broader approach. Others have just attempted to solve like certain corners of censorship and surveillance, etc. We'll get more into that as well. You know, like all these alternatives to Twitter, these alternatives, you know, where free speech like Gab and all that. Just me saying Gab will probably get me demonetized from YouTube. And that speaks volumes for everything I'm going to tell you in this stream. Because it's a right-wing echo chamber. It's full of like... God. I mean, the fact that you have to self-censor yourself in a Western country on a platform that is based in the United States of America, the land of the free, freedom of speech, under God, the right of man is the freedom of speech, and a US company is basically saying no. T&Cs, bro. Anyway, so Urbit aims to solve all this. So, as we all know, it's kind of like the computers of today's day and age. It wasn't like back in the day when you had a Commodore 64 or like a Spectrum or, I don't know, an old school Acorn or something. Now, computers, while they are like an essential part of our lives, they are also like tools of repression of information, suppression of information, and for a lot of people, just depression. So a lot of Eschens. So what they're trying to do, I think, is try and cure what has become a pretty sick internet, where everything we say is recorded, everything is like indexed somewhere in some cloud, or our profiles are like, they know everything about everything we've ever done. Your life, like your thoughts, your opinions, your political persuasions, and the corporate overlords leech that information as data and sell it for profit. So essentially all we are, we're literally like Neo in the Matrix at this point. So in not so many words, what Urbit is trying to do is trying to make things smaller, something more personal, something you have to take care of, like tend, like your own garden. But it's something that is something your own, something that these big oligarchical corporate entities cannot penetrate, cannot censor you, cannot surveil you. It's also a place where you'll be able to put your own spin on things. You'll have your own personality. Whereas on Twitter, if you express yourself in a way that Jack Dorsey doesn't like, boom, you're gone. See you later. If they can do that to the 45th president of the United States, you think they can't do it to me and you? If you have a YouTube channel, I've already been nuked once. Who knows when it'll happen again? Facebook, blah, blah, Instagram, blah, 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 blah. Then where are you in this virtual world? If you are stripped of your virtual identity, you essentially become a ghost, like a shadow. No one. Devoid of anything. No LinkedIn. How are you going to get a job? So, as you can tell, I've got pretty strong feelings about this, and perhaps we can get into it in the chat. So it doesn't matter what kind of person you are, whether you just want to use it for fun, whether you want to use it for business. I'll get into how it works in just a minute. It's quite complex, so prepare yourself and prepare to clarify my mistakes as we go along. But what you essentially have is your own planet, and it's kind of built like, it's described as like a universe, and that's how the different parts of it are laid out. I'll get more into the stars and the galaxies and the moons and all that in just a minute. But if you're an individual, really, planet is the one that you want. But I also want to touch upon the potential financial aspect and the potential speculation aspect in regards to both the planets and the stars in just a moment's time. And really, if this becomes fully realized and really takes off, nothing can hold it back. No outside party will know what you're doing within your Urbit, within your planet. They would actually have to go as far as I can tell, go as far as to actually deny access to everything if they wanted to censor you. So it's like a firewall against these corporate cocksuckers. We'll get into the star market, etc. in a minute, but this is the star market. It is part of Urbit. I can't speak, but... So they say that they're going to give everyone the new tools and bring back the original vision of what the personal computer was, what the internet could have been. You can build your own social network. Instead of just being a PFP on Twitter or a line of code somewhere in Jeff Bezos's server, you can do anything within it, with it, etc. It's scalable. You can just be on your own. You can scale it up massively. It's resilient. If you have a planet, anyway, more on the star in a minute, but you don't have to update it yourself. It automatically updates forever. You can make it in a way that's predictable and something that you, and once you are up to speed on how the whole ecosystem works, then actually, so they say, it's quite easy to understand. So this new connected world that Urbit is trying to build is hopefully going to be a much nicer one, a friendlier place where you can have a bloody chat like you can down the pub with your mates without fear of Big Brother grabbing you around the neck and body slamming you into the ground for not wearing a face mask, you pleb. Was it like George Orwell said, like a fucking boot slamming into a human face for eternity? I'm so going to get banned for this. If not banned, definitely demonetized. Also in Urbit as well, you'll have one login for everything. You will control all your software within it and all your data by default. So the thing of reimagining the internet. Your data won't be on some big node in some network like Zuckerberg's or Dorsey's. The Urbit app or your planet will tell you what it needs from you, and you can ask other people within the galaxy, perhaps if you can borrow some of their data, store it in your machine for a bit. You will need to download the software, which you can do from the website. It comes with things like a messaging service, completely encrypted, etc., etc. Now let's talk a little bit about the IDs. Now you can find these on OpenSea, Urbit ID. It's verified collection. Make sure you're on that. Now these come in different classes. I suppose you've guessed by now, but since this is OpenSea, they are on Ethereum. You might say, well, Frog, what if it gets really bad and Ethereum, for whatever reason, is yanked? Well, fortunately, Urbit have thought of that. More on that in a minute. So what you essentially have, you have this kind of like ecosystem, like the universe, kind of like what the internet is now. But you have galaxies, stars, and planets. They're like the main things, right? And they all have different identities. So I'll scroll down, and probably what you're seeing is, like, when I first started looking at it, like, what the fuck is this? Is this some kind of cipher code or whatever? But no, it's an ERC 721 or an NFT representation of your ID. Now, there is a bit of a hierarchy here. So you have galaxies. Understandably, they're the most large portion of this. As far as I know, you cannot actually purchase galaxies, nor do I think if you were one man or 100 people, would you really want to. But they are 8-bit, and then you have... each galaxy can issue stars or support stars, which you can also find on I'm just going to pull up the stars. Yeah, so here we are, stars. There's 15 of them for sale. But so Galaxy can support stars, and then the stars. So these are the stars here, and these are the planets. But the stars themselves, they can support around 65,000 planets. Now, going back to the planets, under the Urbit system, they're basically intended for people in everyday life, like your Twitter account and Facebook and Instagram and all your socials. In one place is your planet. And there are a finite number of them. There will only ever be 4 billion of them, or around that anyway. So the galaxies are like the domain name servers. The stars are like the ISP routers. So the galaxy is really in charge of tracking all the stars within its realm, and each star is in charge of keeping up to date and keeping a catalogue of all the planets that it is kind of attached to, all 65,000 of them potentially. And so the stars and the galaxies, they're really the big boys of it all. Let's get a bit more, if you watch my channel, you'll know I talk about NFTs quite a lot. It works on the same kind of thing. once you own a planet, it's yours. No one can take it from you. Think of it kind of like your personal server. Right now, you know, all of our information is stored elsewhere on corporate servers, be it bloody Gmail or Zoom or whatever. So you can have your own personal, secure, secret home on your planet. It's yours to do what you want with. Now, obviously, you can't go back in time and scrub your internet history. There's always going to be memories of you on legacy websites. But what you can do is connect these legacy servers to your Urbit and control them from your planet. And once you have them within your planet's gravitational field, then Zuckerberg and Dorsey and whoever else, all those power-mad freaks, won't be able to know what the fuck you're doing, which is gravy. Yeah, and apparently it goes down even further. There's like moons. And moons are issued by planets. Moons are apparently meant for like your connected devices like your smartphones, your laptops, Internet of Things. And basically the moons do what the planets say. So if you're the planet, your moons, your phone, your computer, your I don't know, your smart TV or whatever, they listen to the fucking planet. Sorry for the blue language. If you're not used to how this channel works, I tend to get a bit blue sometimes. And above all of the other shit is like comets, but I don't think you need to worry about them. And going back to, so say it gets like super bad. Some would argue it already is. And Ethereum is no longer around. It will be a sad day if that ever happens. But apparently, even without Ethereum, the Urbit OS can get by. You can do your own research for that, because that's a whole rabbit hole I don't want to go down. So talking about the operating system first, so you've got Nock, which is the programming language, acts as Urbit's lowest level language. And then you have Hoon, which is the programming language that compiles itself to Nock. And then the final part of the jigsaw is this Arvo. Not afternoon to the Australian listeners. This is the operating system and kernel on Urbit. It's called Arvo. Arvo state is a pure function of its event log and serves as the Urbit event manager. It contains vanes, which are kernel modules that perform essential system operations. There you go. So Arvo contains all the encrypted peer-to-peer gravy you need. Apparently I was reading, going through all this, you can go through the glossary and really knock yourself out. Literally. It's made up of like 30,000 lines of code, and then wrapped around that there's like a bunch of simple tools as well, which you can elaborate on. You can build up. You got your basic chat features, encrypted of course, web publishing, API gateways, and a shell, a censorship-resistant, surveillance-resistant shell. And then it's yours. Your planet is yours. You can tell it what you want to do. It becomes your digital identity. No maintenance with planets. There is some maintenance to do with stars. I'll get into that. As I touched upon before, any updates from Urbit that you might need for your planet will come down the pipe, and your planet will be fixed automatically forever. I suppose the simplest way you could look at it from a cryptocurrency perspective We're looking at Urbit Live, where you can buy planets separately from OpenSea. It's kind of like Bitcoin, but not money. Think of like planet, I suppose, kind of like land. We're all au fait with the metaverse and everything like that, but instead of being like some virtual world that you're not a part of, Urbit has the potential anyway, if it takes off, to be your actual world. Everything in one place, your world. And as far as security goes, I think it's been audited up the back passage, and it's probably the most secure. Arguably, I suppose you could argue there are other more secure and private methods of communication. There is also a wallet as well, based on Ethereum. You can connect with your basic kind of Web3 wallets like MetaMask. Also hardware wallets like Ledger, Trezor. Obviously, if you lose your keys to your planet, then you'll be locked out. So keep good care of them. I mean, if you have any like critical items within your planet, make sure you keep your keys safe. But that goes for every bloody cryptocurrency. Please use a hardware wallet, folks. Now, let's get on to the monetary aspect of this, because I wanted to talk about this. As I touched upon, if you were before that part of the stream, so one star can support 65,000 planets. So I suppose most of you, if you're in the cryptocurrency world, is like, how can I profit from this? That's a good question, and also one I've been considering quite a lot. However, I do need to make this point. Don't just think, oh, I can buy a star, make a bunch of planets, and then sell them for like huge profits. That might actually happen, but you must bear this in mind, that should you take control of a star, you are like the face of the community. You need to want planets to be attracted to your gravitational field, if you see what I'm saying. So you get to sell like this domain space under your star, and the galaxy gets to control the stars that it has under its control. So I suppose an Urbit star is kind of like, Urbit in general is like making a bet against the current way the internet is going. And a star, if it's essentially like a domain space and something you get to sell off to planets, aka individuals, then people are speculating on the stars, as far as I can tell, much like people were buying up domain names when the internet first came out. You know, domain names that people might wanted to use, and then on the speculation of, you know, perhaps I can sell this for a huge amount of money later. Now, apparently I was reading, or at least some of the community members are projecting the future value of a planet on Urbit at $10 US, which is kind of mind-boggling, because it certainly isn't that on Urbit, and it certainly isn't that on Urbit Live. You can see the average 7-day price of one planet is $261. It's down 22%, but the price of a star is shot up to $23,000, and quite a lot of volume on the stars. Not much happening in terms of sales on the planets on Urbit.live. So bear in mind, if a star then could support we're looking at the stars here with floor price of 7 Ethereum. If a star can support up to 65,000 planets, and say the $10 thing, that would be potentially up to $655,000, which is a lot more than 7 Ethereum. And that's $10. But looking at the floor price of a planet on OpenSea, it's 0.045 Ethereum, which equates to where's the dollar value? Normally it puts a dollar value there. Anyway, quite a lot. Like a couple of £100 anyway. Not pounds. Dollars. At least. So that's a mind-boggling sum. But then I was looking at Urbit.live, and you can go to the buy planets. And it's the strangest thing, folks. I don't know why more people aren't doing this. But then again, but people are still buying it. 1,400 Ethereum have been traded. But if you go to Urbit.live, now I must say I do not know. Don't come at me like saying I think all planets are equal. You just get to pick a name here like Finbear Matdek or Latum Dirdius. I don't think there's any traits, there's no alien punk version or anything like that. I think all planets are created equal. But if you click on them, you can buy them directly from here, and all of them are 0.025 Ethereum. I'll point another one out. 0.025 Ethereum. 0.025 Ethereum. See, I'm just doing it randomly. 0.025 Ethereum. Obviously, you'd have to pay the gas. 0.025 Ethereum. And if you click buy, it just connects to your MetaMask. Let's have a look at more information. So this status is unspawned for sale. Planet, parent, Binus, Galaxy, Nuz. So you can see the details. But as far as I'm aware, all planets are equal. So I don't know whether people are literally flipping these on buying them off Urbit.live and then selling them to people who don't know about Urbit.live for twice the price. I don't know. And in regards to the star, before you ape in and buy a star for 7 Ethereum, because trust me, I've been thinking about it. As far as I can tell, if you buy a star, it's only going to be worth your while if you are able, if you have the software at hand and you can keep it maintained. There is a maintenance aspect of it because all the planets under you and are drawn to you, the current ones that are with you, and if you want to attract more to you, you have to make sure you're a reliable star. You don't want to be expanding rapidly and incinerating all the planets, and you also don't want to become a red dwindling dwarf. You want to be a nice healthy sun that supports the planets and lets everyone have a nice time. And apparently if you miss too many updates, it's programmed, stars are like programmed to kind of like become less, kind of like, I wouldn't say rot, but kind of like lose their luster, shall we say. And all the planets that were under your star's wing will be like, well, either you'll have to go through the thing of like connecting peer-to-peer with all of them again, or maybe they'll all piss off and you'll be left with no planets, but an extraordinarily expensive star. So bear in mind that if this is something you're interested in, for a speculation point of view, that's something to keep in mind, especially if you want to actually run it. But if you just want to flip it, let's have a look here, because actually if you go down, there's 8,550 stars as of now. but only 15 of them are for sale. And only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are under 10 Ethereum. Now, going back to the star market, this is star.market. Star market is the only place to swap your Urbit star for a WSTR. More on that in a minute. So stars are businesses, supernodes, and service providers on the Urbit network. And this will launch in 5 days, 17 hours, and 15 minutes from now. As it says here, it's the your ID is a decentralized addressing system and public key infrastructure designed for the Urbit OS. It's a unique number, username, avatar, piece of collectively owned network, and key to a new digital world. Sort of like DNS, IP, and a username system combined into one thing. Each Urbit ID is an ERC 721 NFT on Ethereum. What is a star? So, as I mentioned before, it's much bigger. This is a star, and these are the planets that orbit it. But the star is, they say it themselves, it's infrastructure for businesses and communities. So there are 5 different types of Urbit IDs. Star is the infrastructure node. So think about it like, you know, you've heard me talk about strong block nodes and shit, right? So it's like the node, and the planets are like each individual token or whatever. Infrastructure node, and as such is for businesses, communities, or metropolises. But I think some DAOs are getting interested in snapping up these stars, and then they can provide their DAO members with planets, or they sell their DAO members planets, and that way their DAO, they don't have to talk in Discord, which as far as I know is there might be some Chinese influence there, so definitely isn't being tracked. So this is probably right up, probably just given like 10,000 DAOs, not the 10,000 people who have watches, but a way to talk to their community and keep it nice and tight and within boundaries. There are 2 to the power of 16, 65,000 stars. So basically, there's a very finite supply of stars, and each star can support 65,000 planets, as I mentioned. And so there's a finite number of planets and a finite number of stars. Let me just say, before I look at the chat, now this could either be like 2010-9 Bitcoin, or it could not be. But all the reviews I was listening to of the recent Urbit conference they had in Austin, Texas, I think, was very, very positive. And if this is broadly adopted further down the line, and I think some people are still complaining about the usability factor of it, but if it does really take off, like I'm talking mainstream, there's a global rejection of the way the internet's going, then if you own a star, people could essentially pay you, businesses could potentially pay you huge sums just to be underneath your star as a planet. Or they might want your star because there's only going to be 65,000 of them. Or not just companies, but individuals, because they'll be kind of seen as a status symbol. But I must stress very much so that if this is something that piques your interest, A, you don't get all your information just from the stream. B, you check out what you can from the recent conference they held in Austin, Texas. C, go through all the documentation, read it, see if you can wrap your brain around it. But what they're building, I think, is commendable, and I wish them all the best. But if there is like a balkanization of the internet in the next 10, 15, 20 years, then there's no doubt in my mind that Urbit will be in massive demand. Even if that isn't the case, to be quite frank, there's always going to be a market for people who are super conscious about their security and their privacy and don't like people snooping on their shit, and more and more and more this kind of prison planet shit is sweeping in. So that's basically what I'm going to leave it as. Now I'm going to look at your chat and see where Song is Fire. Thank you very much. There's nothing better in this world than a good breakfast combined with the Frog stream. Glad you like it. What alpha you got from me today, Frog? Well, could be the earliest iteration of the new Bitcoin, or it might not happen. So either one of those. Yeah. So Tune Sai saying, Ben saying it's difficult not getting the old jabby. So you can't even talk about that anymore. We can't even have an adult conversation about the virus that's doing the rounds without me being censored. Can't even discuss, like, as a group of people, a group of adults, like, you know, what do you think the best course of action is? So true. Urbit just changed Telegram to private. They are watching. That'd be awesome if they are. AI is listening. Of course. What are you going to do? I do look forward to the time when you all subscribe to my planet, my Urbit planet, for my streams. That would be legendary. And let me tell you, the gloves will be off. The gloves will be off. You are so beautiful. Thank you very much. Scared of a little jabby jab. Frog. Odyssey. Yeah, I mean, it's just a pain in the arse. Plus, you know, all these different secondary sites popping up like BitChute and Odyssey. As I say in my video description, I'm also on LBRY. I thought they were an offshoot of Odyssey. But personally, I think, yeah, at some point I'm going to have to like just do like the first 10 minutes of my streams on YouTube and say, all right, cross over to the non-Nickelodeon version on another platform. Great 1984 reference. Thank you very much, there. Sarconi rugged. I have absolutely no idea. Nothing says decentralized free open source internet like charging $30,000 for an NFT. Well, I mean, people pay what the market decides the price. What are you going to do? Tether, am I going to do another video? Unless there's an update. Sarconi didn't rug. OpenSea stopped NFT profit sharing and killed a free project. Yeah, stone dead, bro. You keep it real and not sell out. That's why you won't reach 1 million subs. Please don't ever change. We need more like you. Very kind, Bobby Steels. This is why Combinator review of Urbit. People hate it because Curtis Yarvin was part of it, y'all. He had a bunch of it and then officially renounced it because he was bringing the project down, speaking of censorship, alas. Anything free from surveillance is in digital format. Do I think Litecoin is going to moon? Schnoodle is going to the moon. Yeah, I think it's like 2x up from my stream the other day. I'm telling you. Don't sell half for like 2x. You'll be fucking sick in about 6 weeks. No financial advice. Look at Strong. Nods off. 1500 to 1800 low cap gravy, 100 finance and HND and such alpha. Interesting idea. Thanks to the blah blah blah. Are you in Olympus again, Frog? I'm always in Olympus 3-3. Unjabbed semen will be in high demand. Women will be chasing fertile men in flocks. Well, since you're all like subscribers or whatever, probably, I've already spread my seed and bit personal, but have the old snipperino. Where'd you get the music, Frog? Split. By the way, don't go telling people on Twitter I said that. I mean, it's kind of personal, isn't it? Medical. Don't go spreading people's medical information around. You don't have my permission. Should get more schnood. Bro, I'm in like the top 15 holders. I can't get enough of that gravy. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed the stream. I hope it wasn't too deep or whatever, or depressing. But I mean, wake up, people. The future is now. They got robot dogs. You think they're not going to put fucking AK-47s on those fucking things? It's going to be the last thing you see. A robot dog. Saying, did you post this on Twitter in 2022? You'll be like, no. We have digital confirmation that you said you are retarded, and retarded in this jurisdiction is punishable by death, etc., etc. So you're dead. And you'd be like, oh great, I'm killed by a fucking robot dog. So yeah, that's pretty much what we've got to look forward to, blokes and chads and chicas. I've seen the analytics. I know like only 3% of my viewers are women. Don't know how many of you are single men. I should imagine quite a lot of you. Alright, ledges. Peace out.